He was a phantom, a whisper in the wind. Gary Johnson. A name whispered in hushed tones, a face lost in the crowd. An ordinary man leading an extraordinary double life. To his neighbors, he was a quiet family man, blending seamlessly into the suburban tapestry. But beneath the surface, a darker truth simmered. Johnson lived a double life. He was a husband, a father, and a cold-blooded killer for hire. The Netflix documentary, Hitman, peeled back the layers of this chilling story, exposing the man behind the myth. Interviews with former friends and acquaintances painted a picture of a man shrouded in enigma. Some spoke of his quiet demeanor, his almost invisible presence. Others hinted at a darkness lurking beneath, a coldness in his eyes that sent shivers down their spines. The Netflix series sent shockwaves across the nation. People were captivated, horrified, and utterly bewildered. How could someone they knew, someone they thought they understood, be capable of such unspeakable acts? Was Gary Johnson a product of his environment, a victim of circumstance? Or was he born evil, a predator in disguise? The lines between truth and fiction blurred, leaving the world grappling with the unsettling reality of Gary Johnson, the man who lived among us. Gary Johnson wasn't born a monster. He was born in the rural Midwest, a small town where everyone knew their neighbor's name. His childhood was unremarkable, a tapestry of ordinary days woven into the fabric of small-town life. He was the boy next door, the quiet kid in class, the product of a seemingly normal upbringing. But somewhere along the way, the threads of Johnson's life began to unravel. The death of his father, a looming shadow of grief, cast a pall over his adolescence. His once bright eyes dimmed, replaced by a haunted, distant look. Some whispered that it was the tragedy that broke him, that shattered his innocence and set him on a path of destruction. Johnson drifted through life, a ghost in his own story. He bounced from job to job, a string of dead ends and missed opportunities. His relationships were fleeting, marked by a deep-seated inability to connect, to let anyone in. He was a drifter, both physically and emotionally, forever teetering on the edge of something dark and unknown. His life was a slow burn, a simmering pot of resentment and anger waiting to boil over. And when it did, the consequences would be devastating. The descent into darkness is rarely a sudden plunge. It's a gradual slide, a slow erosion of morals and values. For Gary Johnson, it began with small acts of transgression, petty crimes that went unnoticed, unpunished. A stolen wallet here, a broken window there. Each transgression chipped away at his conscience, blurring the lines between right and wrong. The thrill of getting away with it, the adrenaline rush of living on the edge, became addictive. He craved the danger, the feeling of power that came with operating outside the law. His crimes escalated, fueled by a growing sense of invincibility and a chilling lack of remorse. It was during this period that Johnson discovered the dark underbelly of the internet, a hidden world where anonymity reigned supreme. He stumbled upon online forums dedicated to illicit activities, places where murder was not a crime, but a service. Intrigued, he delved deeper, drawn to the darkness like a moth to a flame. It was here, in the shadowy corners of the web, that Gary Johnson, the unassuming family man, would transform into something far more sinister. He would become a hitman,